sir.
Mr. Asterisk, man. You take the most pride in an asterisk.
I had to wear my Dodger blue, you already know.
You had to do it.
Oh, man.
God damn, you had to do it.
You already
Niggas talking about analytics. How are you, baby boy?
I'm good, man. How you?
I'm good, man. Surviving. I'm good. Very good. Thank you. Good morning. Hey, first, you well? Family's healthy and happy and safe?
Heck yeah, everybody doing good, man. I'm just happy that, I'm back home and not in Europe and, safe.
Yeah. Man, before we get into all this, man, I saw your Instagram, man. You got your D-Wright boogie going. Was it your birthday yesterday? And
Yeah, it was my birthday.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
35?
35, man. That shit is crazy. Time is flying, bro.
Yeah, man. It's just, I remember your pre-draft workout when you were a kid up from LA.
Right. 18. Wet behind the ears, still.
Oh,
my, yeah. We all were a little bit.
Heck
And
yeah.
was your girl's birthday last week?
Yeah, her birthday is the 29th, so she's
Right there.
3 days. Yeah, 3 days apart.
Hey, you phrased that correctly. Not 3 days older, 3 days apart.
3 days apart, man. We're the same person. This shit is scary.
Happy birthday to you both, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All good. Hey, so, what we're doing with this, a few years ago, my guys came to me. This is Eric Bringus. I'm sorry. You met Eric a few years ago. You were doing.
Looking familiar.
Yeah. So Eric's the head coach for my company, and
Okay.
I started it after we were doing our kind of consulting after my post-Warrior days. And then we'd go to all these events, and I know all these dudes. It's kind of like you stick around the neighborhood a long time, you're just going to know a bunch of dudes, right? And end up doing this, shooting the breeze.
Yeah.
And these things called, these podcasts come up and say, man, John, you got to do these things. I said, man, I'm not doing this. I just want to talk to my guys, because half the stuff you can't make public anyway, we're talking about.
100%.
And then you can't be real.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a year ago, we said, man, we got a year and a half. So we have to do a better job of just putting our word out to help our guys, help our kids that we're working with. So we started doing a newsletter. And it was about 3 months ago, and we thought we were coming out of this as a country, like in August, September, hey, there's this pandemic numbers, they're dropping, and then we get smashed like, oh, man.
Crazy.
And we need some hope, man. We need to get some hope.
Yeah.
So we started talking with a couple of guys who we knew in the past. One guy in particular, a guy named Todd Tissue, who's a big wave surfer.
Okay.
He rides monsters all over the world, and we helped rehab him. With the hell of an amazing story, because he was at his last wave. He thought it was over with. And we just kind of crossed paths. I was running a physical therapy center at the time for Dr. Ting. And we hit it off. And he came out, it just changed for him. He says it changed his life. He was down. He was real down. And I said, man, Eric goes, man, we can't put that in there. We got to talk to him.
Yeah.
Got to talk to him.
So we did, and it just kind of got rolling. And then he hit me by the Dodgers and say, man, let me see if D-Ray, he's here to see if he wants to do it. So that's what brought us to this.
Okay.
I'm going to shut up in a second, let you do the talking, because this is about you. But the whole idea is that even my days in the pros, D, I remember many a time in a locker room, on the days a guy gets cut.
Mm-hmm.
Or he gets sent to the D-League. At the time, now the G-League, right?
Yeah.
But the career was looking ominous, like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? And some
Exactly.
grown man cry.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuck with me. I said, these guys you love, you want to see do well. Like, man,
Hard.
it's hard.
It's
And
hard.
there's got to be a next step.
Mm-hmm.
And now I see all these little kids we deal with, even boys and girls, no matter what sport, but they want to have their eyes locked on to being an athlete. They say, one day it's going to happen. You're not going to be able to do this.
Exactly.
And you're going to be 35, 36. That's a young person.
Hell yeah, it is.
What you all going to do? And then plus, you all think you know how to make it. You have no clue what it takes.
No idea. That shit is hard.
So that's the message. But that's really kind of what we're doing this. For us to let you know, all the people I've been really, really lucky to come across in my long career now, and just let you guys tell your stories so the youngsters can look up and the baby D-Wrights that we're dealing with.
Exactly.
Say, hey, man, you might say one thing, you might even think it's important, but they're going to go, wow.
Right. And stick with them. That's all. That's what it's all about. That's it.
We know what you got cracking.
I'm gonna do the pre and post game for the Warriors this year. So
They got you.
yeah. So this today would be like the first rehearsal for next few days. I got to go in.
You'll crush it.
Yeah, man. Definitely going to try to. It's going to be pretty fun.
Is Mully still there?
Yeah, Mully's going to be. It's going to be Mully and I.
B. Shaw was there the last couple of years, and B. Shaw is now doing the
G League.
And you're home. Oh,
yeah,
that's fantastic.
Right down the street.
Man. We roll, Rick?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this is John Murray and Eric Bringus with Murray Athletic Development. And I have the pleasure of bringing you Dorell Wright, one of my old youngsters. I use the word old loosely. The youngster, he just celebrated his birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, D. Wright, who we love and know for a long time now. D, welcome, man. Great to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Of course.
All good. And like before we started filming, the whole idea behind these things, as I've done this over many decades of working in this field of helping athletes and help people get better, is just really let the pros tell your stories, because many years ago you used to youngster as well. So youngsters who see this, young boys, young girls who have aspirations to take their athletics and academic worlds to the greatest heights, they kind of hear your message. So we'll kind of go in your background right quick and let you tell it. I know where you're from, but tell us kind of where you're from and how you came up and all this.
South Central Los Angeles is where I was born and raised. Pretty tough neighborhood. Just the typical inner city, gangs, violence, drugs, all that type of stuff. And, I was just blessed and fortunate enough to have a great circle, parents that wanted to see their kids succeed. So they made sure we were active. I grew up playing baseball, basketball, and football. I played everything. I was pretty good in everything. My number one sport was baseball. And, my dad really wanted me to be an MLB player. So I kind of put all my energy, all my efforts into baseball growing up. And, I was, one of the top prospects in my area for a lot of years. And everybody thought, D. Wright is going to be the next baseball player, first one out of here in our neighborhood. And, just when you hear my story and you know where I come from and all the, loopholes I had to go through to get to where I am today, it's just so crazy because, I was playing baseball, getting ready to get drafted in high school, and a scout comes to me and say, hey, man, you got to start putting your eggs all in one basket. Is it going to be baseball or is it going to be basketball? And at the time, I was just playing basketball, recreational with my friends outside, nothing serious. Few AAU teams, but nothing serious.
Hey, man, how old are you now?
I'm 35 now.
No, not now. I mean,
at this age, I'm like 17. I'm 17 now, and it's time. Yeah, I was 17.
A year later, you're drafted.
Exactly. So it's crazy. The whole story.
Hey, I would be remiss if you can't say South Central here with Murray and this Mad Flow deal we're doing, and I can't say it at home. Boomy Dizzle himself, Baron Davis. My boy, Baron Davis.
Shout out to BD.
There you go, B.
BD had a definitely a big impact on my career, especially as a youth, because that's somebody we saw. Most youth don't see NBA professional players that, played at the highest level. We saw him. We're able to reach out to him. We're able to touch him. You know what I mean? Pick his brain.
He's right from down the street.
Down the street, you know what I mean? He come from the same environment as me, so we can relate. And shout out to BD, man. He was super dope, as a youngster, taking all of the LA kids under his wing and really godfathering all of us and putting us in the right direction. So shout out to BD. But yeah, going back to, my little story, 17 years old, I played my first year of high school basketball, 11th grade, did well. So I'm starting.
First year.
I didn't play 9th and 10th grade. I was at a school just for baseball. So I'm just gonna rewind a little.
Go ahead, man.
9th grade. I don't get accepted to one of the private schools in the area. So I go to my home school, which is Washington Prep, one of the worst high schools in Los Angeles. About 15 different gangs. It was just the craziest atmosphere ever. And we did A, B, and C track. So A and B be on during, the regular school year. B and C be on during during the summertime. So just imagine all these kids you're getting from all these different areas of Los Angeles bust in or whatever the case may be. This is their home school. So just imagine all the sections and
Hey, you know, it's funny, man, because, you know, we're up north. We're in San Francisco. We're a little city. Mm-hmm. And then LA is, you know, we're the biggest state in the union. And you go down to, you know, our biggest area, which is LA, right? At the time, especially, your high schools are like colleges, like little colleges. That's as far as how.
Yeah, for sure. Heck yeah. It was crazy, man. It was just so many kids there. That's the reason why they had to, you know, have the track system and bringing kids in from different places. It was basically everybody's homeschool. So 9th and 10th grade did that, hated it. You know, just the fact that I was at this school and every day, you know, it could pop off, like they say. It could pop off. Walk to school, walking home, at school. So just thinking about the things I had to go through to get to school and stuff like that, it could have been my day any day. You know, just so happens some dudes is tripping or whatever the case may be. So 9th and 10th grade, played baseball, didn't play basketball. Terrible in baseball. My dad was like, enough, we're going to a different school.
Your dad dumped you, man.
My dad was like, we out of here. I'm like, well, thank you. Please get me up out of here. So I go to Lusinger High School, 11th grade. The baseball coach used to, they wanted me there so bad. The baseball coach used to pick me up for school every morning and take me home every day after school. So that's how committed they were, you know, with me. So get there, the first day of school, Coach Joe Romero. I never forget. He's showing me the campus. He's like, "Yo, that's the basketball coach right there. Do you want to meet him?" I was like, "Nah, you know, I came here to play baseball. I'm not really tripping on basketball. You know, I'm locked in on baseball."
And now, D, you got to understand, you're 16 now? You're a junior.
And now I'm 16. So,
man, 18 months later, I meet you doing pre-draft.
Right.
Mike, that's
crazy.
That's amazing.
So I got to say this. You played no AAU. You played no AAU.
I played once I got on the team there. That's when I first started playing AAU. But no, I did not play AAU growing up as a kid and doing. I played at the park. You know, it was rec ball. Yeah, you know, you go play.
Winner stay on.
Yeah, winner stay on. Exactly. So we get there. He's like, "You want to meet the basketball coach?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm focused on baseball." He's like, "Just meet him." So I go meet him. He's like, "Yo, man, you know, we having, you know, open gym next week. You should come." I'm like, "All right, I think about it." You know, I'm playing big time with him. Like, you know, I can play basketball. I was already dunking and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go. So I bring my shoes. I go to the pickup. And I killed the whole everything. So I'm like, I'm playing. I told him, like, yeah, I'm going to play.
I like this.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm going to play. It looked like I might be the best player here, so I'm going to play.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it happened. And I had a great year on both sides. Baseball and basketball. I was all area on the baseball team, all area basketball. We were terrible. We ended up getting a new coach, and then I finally played my first year AAU. Did okay, but the following year is when I went back with senior year with all the buzz. So get back my senior year, kill it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
I had all like the local schools recruiting me: Long Beach State, Iowa, you know, Fullerton, all those type of schools. We played Aaron Afalo one game. This is my senior year. We played Aaron Afalo. Henry Bibby walks in the gym. He's recruiting Aaron Afalo. Everybody wanted Aaron Afalo. He was a junior. I was a senior, but everybody.
Favorite times at UCLA, correct?
Yep, he ended up going to UCLA. So Henry Bibby comes to the game. It's a big game for us. We're playing against Compton Centennial at home. The highlight of that day that Coach Bibby still talks about to this day is me shooting a shot. I think it was a three-pointer. I shoot the three-pointer and follow it up and dunk it. So that day, Coach Bibby left there, stopped recruiting Aaron Afalo and started recruiting me. I was like his number one recruit.
How much? You think I'm right tonight? Right, okay, Coach, I'm coming. Nah, man. Okay, Pat Riley, I'm coming.
All right. Hey,
you double dipped, didn't you?
Yeah, Coach Bibby was a real.
I'm just kidding, NC2. I was just kidding, man. That doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, I never took anything from nobody, but it was just crazy that one game just basically put me on a map, you know. And Coach Bibby start recruiting me, and then all these bigger schools start coming in, the UConns, DePaul, UCLA, USC. I'm talking about everybody, Florida, Billy Donovan. So, so then summertime comes, and I go to ABCD camp, one of the biggest camps, grassroots camps that used to be around. Sonny Vaccaro, salute to him because he played a big role in my career as well. Go there, they calling me, the next T-Mac. Sonny Vaccaro brings T-Mac to the game to come see me because, he's hearing all this. The next T-Mac, he's just like you. He's a baseball player too, this and that. And I showed out in front of T-Mac, man. I never forget, like, the first 2 plays. I get 2 crazy baseline dunks and look at him yelling and stuff like that. Just, showing him, like, yeah, man. They're trying to say I'm like you, man. So I got to show out. So after that camp, it was like people was talking about, oh, yeah, you could go to the NBA. Now I'm like, damn. People were just saying I could go to college. You talking about I could go to the NBA now? And they was like, no, you could go to the NBA next year. I was like, what? So now it's time. I graduate, senior year is over, and the scout tells me, it's time for you to put your eggs all in one basket. It's either baseball or it's going to be basketball.
Who's the scout, D?
White was I forget what his name was, but he was a scout for the White Sox. And I played on the inner city team called Reviving Baseball in the Inner City. It was sponsored by the Dodgers, and we went all over the place. Played in Florida, Puerto Rico, Dodger Stadium, Safeco Field.
Baseball, what position? You outfielder again? What'd you play?
Yeah, first base and right field. Yeah. By the time I got to high school, boy, my arm was rubber from Little League. Because you know how Little League, it wasn't no pitch count. Yeah, I think it was like 2 days rest. And, I was, the best player is always a pitcher. So it just wore my arm out. So I really wasn't, trying to pitch once I got to high school. So first base and right field was my spots.
And did you bat left-handed or right-handed?
Batted right-handed. Last year I batted 515. I think I had like 40 doubles, 20, about 10 triples, and I think I hit like 5 or 6 home runs that year.
Where did they put you in the lineup?
Cleanup.
Yeah.
Cleanup, baby. It was either cleanup or third because, they always wanted me to get up to bat in the first inning. So, depending on who we were playing, I'd go back and forth from like third and fourth. Yeah. Just so I could get up in the first inning.
Extra bat.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, man, it was great times, but, he called, the scout came to me. He was like, man, you got to put your eggs all in one basket. It's either basketball or baseball. And right there on the spot, I was like, I'm going to play basketball. My dad and my mom was pissed. Like, no. You do not make no decisions around here without, consulting us or talking to us. And I was like, but, I like basketball now. They put all this time, they invested all this money and time into baseball, so they really wanted me to do that. And, I really felt like basketball might be, what's next for me. So that happens. So it's time to go to prep school. I go do one prep year just to get another year under my belt. And a lot of people are telling me now you could go next year out of high school. Tell my mom, hey dad, talking about I could go out of high school. They like, yo, you've lost your mind. You need to go to college. If you don't go to college, you need to go to the junior college, local junior college. One thing about me, I wasn't a great student. I just didn't care. I didn't put the effort in it. And that's something I really, really regretted once I got to prep school because I had to make up so much work. They wanted me to be prepared for college, and I had to get my grade point average to a certain percentage. I had to get my SAT score. So I really had to lock in that last day of prep school. And one thing I can say to the youth, take school serious, man. Take it serious from day one. Don't wait until you get recognition and you have an opportunity to go to college. And now you're doing summer school. You got to go do these college courses at night. Don't do that because I did it and it's not fun at all. So,
don't you find, man? Because right now I'll jump in right quick. Because your stories are crazy because you play baseball your whole life, man. And then the scouts at 17. 17 is even late, right? Oftentimes nowadays there's so much pressure for a kid playing sports, no matter that. But by 13 or 14, you have to be on your track, which is even then is crazy, right? And then less than 24 months, you go in the NBA. You're being drafted by Pat Riley. We'll get to that in a second.
Pat Riley, go.
But you get so much, you step on the court as a kid, man, or on the field or the pool or whatever you're doing, whatever your sport is, and if you're having a blast and you're confident because it comes. It just happens, man. You step in the classroom, it's a different intellect, right?
For sure.
And you struggle, and all of a sudden the confidence is there.
It's gone.
Man. So then you just get crushed. Mm-hmm. And that's where which I appreciate you bringing that point up, because
man,
if you're an AC student, you're being your best, and you're a C plus. That's okay, man.
For sure, 100%. And I think the biggest thing, especially for the youth, man, if you guys are struggling with something, just ask for help, man. Ask somebody, a teacher, a friend, family member, because it's so important, man. The SAT, man, I know I got in there, I was looking at that test like this.
Yeah.
Like, what? I am from the inner city. We didn't get to this, I'm used to having 30 students in a class. You got 10 talking, you got 10 that really want to be there, and you got another few that's just, I'm here because I got to be here. So just imagine how defeated you can be as a kid trying to, learn and get ready for the SAT. So thank God that I finally, after the third or fourth try, I got my score. So if it was time for me to go to college, I was qualified. But it was just like, damn, I couldn't even imagine what other people going through that didn't have the same help I had to get my scores, to get my grades to where they were. So,
it happens every day, all the time, which is a sad thing, man.
So sad. It's so sad.
And one other question before you jump ahead, right? So it's a trip to hear this, as you said, man. You're a kid. I mean, now, by the time you don't think but you're looking back, you're just a kid, and everyone in your family saying, "Let's do baseball."
Yeah.
What about who? This is after a year of kind of playing, right?
Right.
What about who grabbed you, man? What about it? Like, man, I got to do this. I'm vibing here. What is it? Or what was it?
I just felt like it was the camaraderie. I had great teammates, learning something. I took the challenge because I was just raw. I was athletic. I could shoot a little bit. I was kind of skilled, but it was just, seeing the development every day, getting better. Dunking, that dunk. I can't compare a dunk to a home run, because when that thing ting, or that feeling in the hands when you hit a home run is a little bit different. But it's definitely up there with a dunk and hitting home runs. But I just felt like, just how I was going, the attention I was getting, the schools calling. I was like, man, this is cool. Like, this what it's all about? This is pretty cool. So I think that's what it was, just the grind, just the sacrifices, and it was a challenge, every single day for me, because like you said, I wasn't doing it at 8, 9 years old on an AAU team traveling the world. So all this stuff was fairly new to me as far as on the basketball side. I traveled for baseball, but on the basketball side, it was way more fun in my opinion.
Yeah. It's a different, it's just interesting because you had all the experience playing baseball and you were great at it and you loved it. And like that,
I had to change of heart. I was like, man, I think I could really do something. And like I said, I get to prep school. I kill it. I go to the East Coast, play against, the top talent over there.
What prep school did you go to again? I'm sorry.
South Kent Prep in Connecticut.
Got you. So now you're going back east.
I'm going back east, all boys school. I tell my parents about it. They were like, "You're out of your mind if you think you're going to do another year of high school." The goal is, I never forget with this conversation with my mom. She was like, "The goal is to move forward, not backwards, son." I'm like,
now you got to tell what your mom does for a living, because I love this, man. You remember, you couldn't get in trouble in LA, but tell what you got to give me.
Yeah, mom's worked for LAPD 30 plus years.
You wouldn't get in trouble.
No trouble, because she gonna hear about it for sure. She's gonna hear about it for sure. So,
moms don't play.
So get the prep school finally and just kill it. Now we went from coming here to get qualified, coming here get your test scores to go to college, to nah, you going to the NBA next year. My AAU coach told me this out of his mouth, and I thought he was out of his mind. He was like, "Yo, after this year of prep school, you're gonna go to the NBA." I was like, what? Like, I told my mom, never forget, running home, telling my mom and dad, like, "Yo, man, Coach Harden said that I could go to the NBA next year." They was like, "Dude, if you don't knock it off like that's not going to happen." Let me be real with you. That's not going to happen. So, played a year out, killed the whole season. Danny Ainge, Pat Route, all these different people in the crowd now watching me play. So, now it's getting real. It's like, damn, like I might really do have a chance. So, finished the year off strong. Now it's time to make a decision if I'm going to go to college or if I'm going to go straight to the NBA. So I had to get consulted by all these people, Sonny Vaccaro, all these different agents. I couldn't sign with an agent at the time because it would mess up my eligibility. So I had to take these different meetings to see, test the temperature. Like, do you guys think I'm a first-round pick? Do you think I should make this leap? It was just so many questions my mom and dad had because this was all new to them. They had no idea about AAU. They had no idea about nothing. They knew baseball. So finally, enough people said, hey, I think the best thing for him is to put his name in the draft and go for it. I think he's going to be a first-round pick. And I think the person that really put the cherry on top was Sonny Vaccaro. And I don't know if people who know who Sonny Vaccaro is. He's the
now they probably don't. Now the youngsters nowadays. But go ahead, because without Sonny, other stuff is going on right today.
Crazy. He ran Adidas. He was a godfather of the grassroots basketball. He's pretty much the reason why AAU basketball is what it is. These camps and all this, because he had the biggest camp, ABCD camp, and you had to be invited. The top 200 kids in the country. So. In the world, sorry about that, in the world. So he was the one that kind of put the cherry on top for the family and let them know, like, yo, I think, this is the right decision for him. So, and that's how I became who I am today, man. Just like that.
It was a trip, man. I mean, no phones. You didn't have your own Instagram, your own podcast,
right.
Facebook, no nothing. You just know you're not snapping, TikTok, and you just hooping.
You just hooping. You had to really catch a game. You had to come see for yourself, and we used to have crowds at the game to see because people wanted to see. Like, I heard, this kid could do this and that. So just think about all the stuff that happened to me on the road in prep school. Everywhere I went, overrated. Go to college. I got it from everywhere I went. They came to the game just to troll me, so that was a cool experience as well.
At least in person, you're not every day you're going to class and it's all over your phone, which is
right.
About that. And plus, you're going from South Central LA, public school in LA.
Right.
I can only imagine you going over there, way east, Connecticut, with that well-known weather. But the social culture, I gotta believe, man, a little different.
It was definitely a culture shock. The best thing about my experience there is the fact that I was definitely preparing myself for the NBA, getting up on time, wearing a blazer, shirt and tie every day, doing laundry, just being responsible. And that's what really, really helped me once I got to the league. Thank God, I was blessed enough to have great parents that, taught me manners, please and thank you. So I knew how to carry myself. But the structure part, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Going there, getting that structure was so important for me because, you don't have much structure when you at home. You depend on your mom and dad to tell you where to go, where to be, and stuff like that. So salute to them for, giving me that boost, I like to say. So once I got there, I just, fall in line. So, yeah.
Well, man, it forces you to have habits.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because, when you get, so I remember Greg Stratton at the time was now the director of scouting with the Kings. Stratton was our director of scouting with the Warriors. He comes back and he's telling Molly about you. He was like, man, this youngster, from LA, he's East Coast. And I always made it a point in my role, I wanted to know what the scouts were seeing. We don't see anything. When you get in the NBA, you don't have time. You're trying to, you come so myopic with the world that you, from games, practices, travel, etc.
There's a lot.
I didn't watch college at all.
Yeah.
I have to, but I want to know who you're bringing to us because we got to make sure, one, what kind of person we are. Person are we getting? Two, what kind of player? Then, so we're ready.
Yeah.
He was talking about you and Monte.
Oh yeah, my guy. My guy, man.
We'll get that in a second. That's so. As a guy now on the other end, we're a young franchise. Well, not young, but young situation where Mully's run the show, young GM and all that. We're trying to come out and get together. I'm thinking, man, we'll get this dude from little cat from Mississippi and the big old cat from LA. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, let's go. So the fan of you comes out. So now we're jumping ahead, man. So now you make the decision based on Sonny's kind of putting that cherry on top for your decision making. Now, where are you in this process now?
Now I'm getting ready. Now I'm trying to talk the headmaster of the school to let me leave. I'm like, hey, everybody, that's putting their name in, all the high school kids, they're leaving school because this was a thing back then. You leave school to prepare. You want to go get your body right. You want to get the workouts in. So once you got the pre-draft camp, you're ready. He was like, no. Before you got here, you made a promise. I made a promise to your parents that you would finish a year strong. We'd get those test scores. You're going to get that grade point average. So you got to finish strong. So he was like, whatever you need, we'll try our best to get it here for you or whatever it was. So I did the whole pre-draft camp without touching one weight. I did the whole everything without touching. It was all gym. It was working out, on my game, because that's what we did 17, 18 years ago. It wasn't weights. You probably do some push-ups, but you got better on the court. And I just wish, I had the knowledge I had now to do the strength and conditioning, injury prevention stuff like that, that I'm pretty sure, and I know for a fact that you guys are preaching to the kids because we did it, in 2010 when we were together. So just imagine if I was doing that stuff at a younger age and where I'd be at, in my career now, So, yeah, so he told me, you can't leave, you got to stay here, finish the school year. So, I was kind of bummed about it because I was thinking I was about to go back to LA and hang out with my friends and get some work in. So, they just made it accessible for me to get in the gym whenever, to get as many workouts as I could. And, just to get prepared for the draft. So,
now you're doing this all at prep school.
Yeah, I'm doing everything at prep school. So I even hosted workouts at prep school. I think the Celtics and the Heat came to see me. I did 3 workouts for the Heat and 3 workouts for the Celtics. So those guys came to South Kent. We talking about in the woods. It take an hour to get there.
They're
driving. So just to see those guys come and check me out, I was like, damn, man, like my life is really about to change. Like if they're making this drive to come here to see me, like, man, they must see something. They must know something. So that made me grind. That made me change my whole mindset of being a professional and working every single day and trying to get better. So that happens, and then we graduate, and I finally get to go back home to LA. I pick my agent. That's when I signed with Bill Duffy and Calvin Andrews with BDA, and and that's kind of how I got prepared for the draft.
Now you're this is springtime, right? And Jackson about third Thursday of June, still back then, right? Mm-hmm. I remember the draft board. Then we watched the draft board.
Yeah.
And we're like, maybe looking at having you come in for your pre-draft workout. I believe with us. I forget when it was. And
it was the day before the draft.
Yeah, that's right.
The day before the draft.
That's right. We're all going, come on, baby. Come on, baby. It was Rick, like he said, man, you could tell his body was like a newborn deer you see in cartoons. Like, man, but he was long and lanky. He's a nice kid. Wow, we could do something with this kid. And I remember watching the board the next day. Here he comes, and then here comes Uncle Pat.
Yeah. One thing I could respect about the Warriors, they made it loud and clear. They was like, Andres Bindris is our guy. If he's not on the board, if he's gone already, we're taking you. And I was like, what? The 10th pick? Because, I'm looking at the mock drafts every day in prep school. Like, man, like, they got me here. They got me going to Boston. Yeah. They had me going like 20-something to Boston. So I was locked in on that. I was like, man, that might happen. So after I did that workout, and I remember that workout, I killed that workout. It was crazy. And they were like, listen, we got a guy. If he's not on that board at 10, we're taking you. And so I'll never forget that draft day, man. Armpits start sweating heavy, Big John.
Well, man, were you back? You were back in LA at home.
I did it at home, and the funny thing about that, I was like, Mom, I gotta have a draft party. So we did the draft party in 2 days, organized. She's like, what the hell is a draft party? I was like, everybody sit in front of the TV, you watch the draft with everybody, and then you wait for your name to be called. She's like, what? Okay. So she caters. I think she might have made some spaghetti. My dad, best friend's wife, made me a big old NBA cake. That was crazy. And I maybe had, in my little house, about 100 people, family and friends in there. And we put that together in 2 days.
I bet you did.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. That was a great moment, man. Hearing my name called by the Heat. And the funny thing about that, right before they drafted me, after I seen the 10th pick, I was like, man, well, it look like I'm going to Boston with 20. I'm sitting on the couch, and my agent saying, Dorell, you think you can handle South Beach? You think you can live there? I was like, yeah. Like, why he asking me this? Like, I'm watching draft. He's like, you think you can handle South Beach? I'm like, yeah. So, Miami pick comes. I'm not thinking nothing of why he asked me this question. I'm not thinking about the 3 workouts I had with them. And it was just like, damn, they called my name. And it was like the best feeling ever. It's like, damn, Pat Riley, somebody that I watched with the Showtime Lakers my whole life damn near, is going to be, the GM of the team, and I'm be able to pick his brain, be able to be mentored by him. So it was surreal.
Yeah, man. When you work in that environment for a while, you learn about what Miami does. And I ended up knowing a few of the people who were on the personnel who worked there. Like Billy Ferrand, the straight coach, right? Yeah. But it's something like their system should be what they're in the Spurs, right? The old Spurs should be what, like the boot camp for every kid coming in, because there's just their culture is impeccable.
Right.
There's players go that you're going to get better.
Yeah, you're going to get better. You're going to be held accountable. And I think those 2 organizations brings the best out of their players.
Yes.
Even you can see a guy that you probably, Patty Mills, and I'm pretty sure you guys know him because he's from down the street. Nobody thought Patty Mills would be this great NBA player from St. Mary's down the Dellavedova went there as well. But just to see him, flourish in that system and, make a long NBA career out of that is crazy.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, because from my perspective on the development side, Billy Ferrand, I got to meet. He's now a friend, But then Mike Brungart with the Spurs, he was there.
Yeah.
These reflecting rings, but you get to know them as people. They're great dudes, but their management, their presidents, and their coaches believed in getting the body right to get the mind right to get the game right.
That's it. That's where.
And if you don't do it, it's one word: bye.
Bye. We'll see. And that's one thing Pat Riley used to preach all the time, is that mindset, the mental toughness that most people are not teaching people. Putting your body to the extreme, just to break you all the way down to build you right back up. And that all comes with that mindset. You got to have that mind, man. And Pat used to always harp on that, man. Mental toughness, mindset, mentality. So that's why you see guys that come to Miami and they flourish and they go somewhere else, get good contracts there, because once they go in that system, once they understand how to work, how to get your body in tip-top shape by the numbers, because everything they do there is by the numbers. 8% body fat, guards 6% body fat, bigs 10 or 11% body fat. Like it sounds like it's a lot, but when you think about it, it makes sense, because now you're in tip-top shape. When guys are getting gassed and tired, you still running circles around people.
And you can see when he played.
Right.
It was irrefutable. Now, that's one thing. When you work for, when I was younger and I worked in this industry, I worked for someone, be it a college or a pro team, you're at their mercy really to the culture that they want to permeate, cultivate, right?
Yeah.
You try to find your own little niche, but it's very difficult. So by the time I started my own, you put your name on something, it's like, all right, I'm doing it my way.
Gotta do it your way.
And learn. Mm-hmm. And it was a body and mind. I got that from my martial arts upbringing. So I didn't once with baseball, football, it was martial arts, and that's no doubt about it. Because you don't have your body and your mind, you're getting a butt whooping fast,
quick,
and they'll kick you out. I mean, I've been there, right? And ass whooping like nobody's business. But that's why I respected like O'Reilly or Pop with the culture they created. You could tell, man.
Yeah, you could tell.
We're playing against you guys. You could tell. And now that's kind of our mantra: get your mind right, get your body right, and the skill right. But mind, body, skill, and that's you're talking about that. But yeah. DA, talk about this, man, because you go from a young fella playing baseball in South Central LA at a public high school. Next, you're hooping there, and then less than 18 months, you're playing for Pat Riley on South. Did you even know what South Beach was?
I had no idea. So the first day you get there, I'm with my mom and dad. We walking. I'm like, yo, this is what they were talking about. I had no idea where Miami was, how far it was, nothing. So when I got there, I'm like, crazy. Like, I'm about to live here. So you
walk in now. Who's on the squad? Not on Pat Riley, but who's on the squad?
So it's D-Wade, Eddie Jones, Damon Jones, Steve Smith, Wesley Person, Shaquille O'Neal. Who else was there? Yeah, those are like the core guys.
Was the number one there? He's still there. Udonis was Haslam.
Oh, Udonis Haslam. How can I forget my guy? Yeah,
I don't know him, but I love that way that guy. He's coming back again, isn't he?
He's coming back again. I just got back from Miami this past weekend, and I hung out with him, man. I'm like, bro, how you feel? Like, he's like, man, I feel great. Like, you know, he always took his body serious. He's one of those guys, you know, that had a story. He went to Europe his first year out of college. He had an opportunity with Miami. Turned his body, because if you go back to Florida, he was chubby, you know, out of shape. So I think once he said he went to London, he played in France. He hated the food, so that's when he lost a lot of weight. So once he got back to Miami, it was easy for him to get in tip-top shape. So he's like, man, I feel great, D. Wright. Like, I'm still young, and I can play a few more years. I hear that. Keep going.
Yeah, man, that's amazing, man. I don't know the man, but just competing on teams against him. And I know guys who know him, play for him, and they know, like, Billy Ferrand and his crew down there. I mean, I'd take him any day of the week.
Stand up. Any day.
He never talks smack. He's just going to bring it.
No, he's going to bring it.
Box every time.
Right.
So, this is always a trip to me. More so as I've gotten older and I look back. I'm dealing with these younger people, young D-Rights now. But you just named a few Hall of Famers in there. You're coming from a little prep school. And you walk in there, I remember seeing you. You're a string bean. Mm-hmm. What was that like?
It was surreal, man. The biggest thing was playing with Shaq. It's like, bro, I just watched my whole life in LA. On my team, this is crazy. And the dope part about that, a close friend who was a detective that worked with my mom for years is kind of the person that got Shaq into law enforcement and learning about it in LA. So once he got traded there, she called him right away, like, my best friend's son plays in Miami. You better make sure he's good. You take care of him, this and that. So, you know.
Your mama called Shaq.
No, not my mom. Her best friend that she worked. And so Shaq and her built a relationship when, you know, being in LA, teaching them about law enforcement and, you know, all that stuff. So she made that call, like, man, you going to where my best friend's son is, so you better make sure you take him under your wing, you look out for him. So day one, you know, it was all love, and it was just crazy to me that I never got starstruck, but I just was like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean? So
that's nuts. That's amazing, man. And then that first year, right? You guys go get it.
Yeah, the first year we get to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost to Detroit. That's the year D Wade, he ended up missing the game. I think he broke a rib or tore something up under in that area. And we lose to in the Eastern Conference Finals. We revamped the whole team. Now we go get Antoine Walker, Gary Payton, White Chocolate, Shandon Anderson, Derek Anderson. Who else? We drafted Wayne Simeon from Kansas. So we revamped the whole team. We got a whole new team now. James Posey. And that's the year, my second year, we get back Alonzo Mourning. And we get the conference championship again, smack Detroit, get to the finals, and that's when we seen a star born with Flash. You know, when he got his name, you know, when Shaq named him Flash because of his series he had with Dallas.
Yeah, it was amazing, man. I remember seeing him. I was at the final when he was at Marquette.
Yeah.
Go against and watching. I was out there. I was still working in college at the time. And you just tell D-Wade he just could go. He just, you know, you watch a guy, he's, you know, like watching a great musician. It might be a little rough sounding, but it just could go. I mean,
that's how he was.
Yeah, smooth as silk and just could go. And he's a baller. Didn't say a thing. He just hooped.
Just hooped.
And this, I mean, that's amazing, man. This is obviously an uncommon situation, D, because you come from. We beat this one to death, but I mean, it's amazing. You playing baseball less than 2 years before that.
Right.
And then guys you name, young fellas see it watching this, Posey, Udonis Haslam, Mourning, Gary Payton, Shaq, D-Wade.
Come on.
Come on. I mean,
a lot of Hall of Famers, man. I appreciate them, boys. They really took me under their wing and showed me the ropes for sure.
What this is, what you learned too, it's also a tribute to you because you were smart enough and you were raised well to shut your mouth and work hard and recognize that. No.
And that's what it was. I was respectful. The one thing people always ask me, man, you play with all those players. What they used to make you do? They didn't make me do anything because I was the comedian. I made them laugh, you know. But I was me. You know what I mean? They respected that. And I used to get on Zoe nerves so much. I do or say something, he'd be like, "Young fella, what are you talking about? What are you thinking?" And these dudes are my age now, so I couldn't even imagine being 33, 35, dealing with an 18-year-old right now. You'd be like, "Yo, where's your head? Like, what made you think that? Like, that's cool, you know?"
You're a dinosaur now. I mean, man. Because you know, if you were you now, with all this going on, you'd be probably a big jerk.
I'd be ready to go home. Like, man, I can't.
All this crap would be everywhere. Like, man, you're like, man, I'm retiring at 19. I don't need this. I mean, it's a different vibe out there.
Facts. Big facts.
Different vibe out there, man. So now, how many years with Miami now?
I was there for 6 years.
Yeah. And then when do we cross paths, man? How does that all come about?
So, after my 6th year, you know, that's when LeBron made his decision to go to Miami. And then, like, the next day, Larry Riley calls me. Like, man, we want you here, this and that. So I'm like, what? Golden State? I love, because after our games in Miami, I used to shoot to the house, and the last game will always be the Warriors on. Yeah. So I used to always see BD and all those boys, the We Believe team all the time. So when I seen that, I was like, oh yeah. When they called, I was like, oh yeah, for sure. So 2010, that's when I agreed and signed a deal here in Golden State, and that was probably one of the best decisions I made. Because I love the style. Back in California, 45-minute flight from the house. I could see more family. So it ended up working out, man. And like I said, my 2 years I had here was so great. And that's probably the biggest reason why I still live here, man, because the love I got, it just felt like home, you know. And the fact that I knew I could get home in 45 minutes if I needed to.
Yeah. Oh, how often you get home, man? You get home a lot?
Now, not so often. I'm here. You got to come see me. You can't get me from up here. I'm paid, man. So family always comes and visit, but majority of the time I'm here.
And how is here, man? How's the Bambinos, man?
You got the babies?
Yeah. I mean, they're not babies anymore, man. How are they now?
They good. My oldest will be 13 in February, and my youngest will be 6 in March. So it's just crazy to see them grow. My oldest voice changing, voice getting deeper. Got a little dirt on his lip. I think it might be mustache. So
drinking that chocolate milk.
Right, drinking chocolate milk. So just seeing these kids, man, grow how they growing, and my oldest love for the game and stuff like that is pretty cool, man. But I'm loving it. Loving being home. Loving being with them. And, you know, teaching them the ropes now.
And yeah, I will say this, and we got to wrap up because you got to get your appointment. I remember it might have been your second year we were together at Golden State. It was a preseason game. You would come to us with a little knee issue, right? And we always, and it was a preseason game. It might have been game 1 or 2. And you come down off a dunk, and you come down landing, your leg kind of wobbles.
Yeah.
And Jim at the time came to me and goes, "Hey, it's Travis Schlenk who's now in Atlanta." Travis told me, "Johnny, man, we got to get that kid right." I said, "D, right?" It's always when Travis as an assistant coach, a film guy was different. As an assistant GM, there's always an unwritten message there, right?
Yeah.
And I came to D. I said, "D, man," I said, "let's go, Big John. Let's get it cracking."
Right.
He did not miss a lift. We lifted game days, off days. And he did not miss a game.
We did not miss one game, and that was an accomplishment, man, because you know I always wanted to do that. You know, I had the little knee injury a few years prior to getting to Golden State. And, you know, it was one on my bucket list. I got to play 82 games. And we did it. And it came from you know, caring and giving a damn about me and saying, like, man, let's hit it. And I was all in for it. You know, I believed in you. I trusted you. So I'm like, man, I got to do it. I seen Monte doing it after every shoot around as well. So I was like, man, let me fall in line. And my body, that's for sure my best year. My body was in tip-top shape. I was strong before every game. Doing the activated stuff right before the game.
Yeah.
Seeing Gina and Dr. Stein as well.
Yeah, Dr. Lenny.
I was getting that whole, you know.
It was as close to utopia as it could be.
For sure. Yeah. So I couldn't beat that. I was like, man, let me take advantage. These people know what they're talking about. They're good at what they're doing. Let me buy in. And that mess takes time. You know, a lot of people don't want to do that stuff because it takes time. People want to do other stuff. And, you know, if you want to be a great player, if you want to do well, you got to sacrifice. And you got to sacrifice friends. Sometimes you got to sacrifice family if you really got a goal that you set and you want to accomplish. It's just part of it.
Yeah, and that was a tribute. And as a coach, that was a highlight for me because you and Monte, I love to call Sip, right? Sip. You would not miss. On the road, would not miss. You came and got me. Hey, Big John, we got to go. You put on the beat, music you liked, excuse me, and we rocked it. So now I always meant to tip the hat to you guys. That was awesome. It was you guys. We were always going to do it, myself and Lenny and Gina, the South Shepherds. They were awesome to work with.
For sure.
You guys did. You put the time in and it worked because you guys both played at 82.
Yeah, we both played 82. I never forget when I rolled my ankle and I missed shoot around. Something that happened. Yeah, because I got I rolled my ankle right for the end, and me and Monte, our lockers was right next to each other. So he was looking at me, giving me that look. He was like, "You good?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I might have to sit this one out." He was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Yeah, I rolled." He was like, "It just rolled like you sprained it." I was like, "Yeah, bad." He was like, "You ain't gonna play?" I was like, "Man, I don't think I'm gonna play." So I thought about that stuff when I went home. I was like, "Man, I gotta play." I suit up. So Monte was like, "Oh, you playing?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Thank you. I need you out there." I was like, "Man, all right." I know, and you should remember what he used to be dealing with on a day-to-day basis because how he plays. So it was like, man, I gotta suck it up, man. It's just a sprained ankle. You know what I mean? It's tender right now, but once the adrenaline start pumping, I'm gonna get out there.
Yeah. And the only way to stop Sip is beat him up.
Yeah, you got to. You got
to just bring the hammer. I know you got a good run. I won't keep it. But last thing, DC, it's a trip, man, seeing me as an older coach now, seeing you. We all involved in this industry, right? Mm-hmm. And then have you tell your story. Most of it's about you being a kid coming up.
Yeah.
From a kid to Riley in the NBA to trading with Golden State. Now you move on. You went to Europe. We didn't even touch on Europe. That's a whole other conversation. But now you're back. Now you're a dad, and you're at home, and now you're coaching. Right? You're a little bit. What is that like? It's great.
The fact that I could give all the knowledge that I have to the youth, somebody that played at the highest level is like, it's a no-brainer. And, I'm just fortunate enough and blessed enough that the parents trust me. And they were fans. They, big-time Warrior fans, so they know I'm not just blowing smoke and trying to take people's money. No, I'm trying to help these kids get to where I was. And I feel like the only way they could get there is, not the only way, I'm sorry. I think that a good way to get in there is believing and trusting the process of what I'm preaching to them on a day-to-day basis. And they've gave me full trust to go out there and coach their kids and try to, make those guys high-level players, just like you guys doing every single day. So it's been definitely a treat every day getting up, game planning, and, what we going to do today. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Well, listen, man, much love to you and the family, and thank you for, putting in some time here. I know I don't want to make you late for your deal. You'll go crush that. You going to see Mully? You see Mully?
Mully will be there next week. He's not going to be in.
Give my best. Tell my said sponsorship.
Thanks, man. Thanks you guys for having me. This is great.
All right, I'll check you down later on. But all the best. Thanks again, D.
Okay, no problem, John. See you, man.
Good luck today.
Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys.
Bye.